back. It's the commish back here for another season preview, and this time we're kicking off our 12th season here in this format. And Tier 3 and Tier 2 haven't always been around for the entire 12 years, but obviously it became a tiered system. And there's a lot to go over today, so I'm just going to get right into it. So season preview, we're going to do Dynasty, we're going to do Tier 3, we're also going to do Tier 2, and of course, the League of Champions, which is Tier 1. As you know, we got a new co this year. It is Lucas. He's an original owner and someone that I feel that the entire league can trust moving forward to put his best foot forward to make this a better league. So we're going to talk about Dynasty now. Dynasty Reborn. It was created to continue what the culture is all about in Yellow Sea, this time with hand-picked invited owners to take part in becoming and creating their own dynasty. I'm really excited to get Dynasty kicked off, and that's exactly where we're going to start today. Cole could not get his projections in time for season records for Dynasty, so it will be just my projected records. But I'm happy to get into it. So let's get right into it. The mixed bag division. Well, the mixed bag division, why is it called the mixed bag division? Well, that's because it is a bit of a mixed bag. We got 3 Canadians and 1 American. That's what makes it a bit of a mixed bag division. Now, you can see already I've put the projected records up there of how I feel this is going to play out. And the 6 is what he's known for in LOC Tier 1. His team name is Trenton Golden Knights in Dynasty, and what a position you were in. I mean, let's face it, Milan. I'm pretty sure you picked early in the rookie draft and the regular draft, puts you in a prime position, right? You got Lamar at quarterback. Even like great picks like Ollie Gordon are looking like they're going to pay off. Of course, I criticized you on Ted McMillan, but when I look at the lineup, it's pretty deep throughout. And I got you going 10-3 winning this division, and I got you winning it easily. I know looking at what Fantasy Pros had, I know they also had you pretty high up there as well with Memphis Devil Dogs, which is Dirk there, also known as Memphis Mafia in Tier 2. I got Dirk, you going 6 and 7, and I will say this: there was 10 people who voted on who would win this division, and 7 out of the 10, 70% did go Milan, 30% going with Dirk. And you could see here with Dirk, yeah, I got him going second in division as well, but I don't have him winning the division at all. Got you going 6 and 7, Dirk. I love Braylon Allen for you. Drake May should take off, and let's face it, Jamar Chase very well could be WR1. I'm just a little bit concerned about the flex spots right now. I think those guys are going to be great, like Scatterbo, Lambert Smith, but it just might take a little bit of time, and I think you just might have a bit of a slow start. I got myself going 5 and 8. I don't like my team whatsoever. I went into Dynasty completely unprepared. It's the first draft probably in a long time I went in completely unprepared. There are some good elements. CD Lamb, obviously. I love Jordan Mason. I think I have him in almost pretty much every format. I'm a huge fan of Bowers as well, but I do have myself going 5 and 8. Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold just aren't going to get it done for me. And for you, Josh, Silver Bullets, I got you projected to go 4 and 9. You were just one of those unlucky teams, kind of like me, where you're picking in the latter half in the rookie draft and the regular draft for most of your players, and you're just very, very weak at quarterback. I feel Bryce Young isn't really going to get it done for you, right? And at the moment, you don't really have a second quarterback. So it's all about looking towards next year for you. Even your running backs look kind of poor. Maybe Breece Hall gets another landing spot next year. That might work out for you. But 4 and 9 is what I got for you. Now, we get into the Canadian division. And I know Fantasy Pros really has projected the Mother Tucker to pretty much win this league. I think Kalen's going to do quite well. I just don't actually see him potentially winning the league. And honestly, I see him not even winning this division. As you can see there, I got Kalen going 8 and 5. There's no doubt about it, Kalen. You're going to be in the playoffs. And I do like aspects of your team. There's no doubt about it. There's a reason why Fantasy Pros has it high. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley. See, people seem to forget this guy's coming off 2,000 yards on the ground, right? Like, and Nick Chubb's going to get a role, right? So that definitely helping you right off the bat. I'm just not a big fan of Kyler. I think he's going to have a down year. Stafford with the injury problems could be a bit of a concern for you later on. I got Adrian going 9-4 because on Friday night we get to see them play against each other. Mahomes and Herbert, I think, is one of the better quarterback combos in the league. And in a league like this, Dynasty Flex, I think you just need to have those good quarterbacks going, right? So he does have good quarterbacks. He's got Trevion Henderson, who I've liked throughout the entire process. So I think Adrian's lineup is deep enough to win this division. Lucas, I got you going 6-7. Sorry to do it to you, Cole, but honestly, when I look at your dynasty team, great running backs, right? Gibbs, Bucky, these guys are going to put up huge numbers for you. Wide receivers are iffy, right? They're okay. The thing is, though, you got Cam Ward, Russell Wilson. That's not going to scare anyone this year. Russell Wilson probably won't even be starter by week 6. So I don't have you doing very well. Cowichan, Chicken Turtles, that's Orion. I'm pretty sure Fantasy Pros has you doing dead last. I got you going 5-8. I don't think you're quite as bad as what Fantasy Pros is saying. I think Quinsaw Judkins is going to come back at some point for you. I think Baker Mayfield's going to put up big numbers with all those wide receivers. And you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, etc. It's just, I'm looking right now, for some odd reason, you have Sky Moore as in your starting wide receiver 3. Probably might want to look at someone else there. Next up, American Division. He's known as Banjo Blitz, sorry, in Tier 1. I'm talking about Killer Sheep and Shep. I got you winning the American Division, and I got this American Division being somewhat mediocre. I got you going 7-6. 3 Carolina Panther fans in this division, and I'm happy to unite you Carolina keep pounding fans together. Why I love Killer Sheep. Chase Brown's expected to take off. RJ Harvey, I think, is going to be a good rookie. You got Brian Thomas Jr. as well as Jaden Daniels. Lineup looks strong. Got you going 7-6. LOC veteran and former LOC champion Deuce Bombers, albeit a long time ago. I got you going 6-7. Again, Bijan Robinson running the ball. At first, when you picked Jaden Blue in late in round 1, I honestly didn't even really have that guy on my map. I think he is going to take over that job eventually. And then you got Matthew Golden as well as Drake London at wide receiver. I do like that. The Rashee Rice suspension is going to hurt you a little bit, obviously. No more 5-8. That's where I got you. I think you know why right off the bat. It's the quarterback situation, right? You traded for Rattler. You got Flacco. Something needs to be done there because the rest of your lineup is really good, right? You got Neighbors, Kyron Williams, Chuba. I mean, it's really deep at running back. You just got to get quarterback figured out, and that's why I go going 5-8. It's the most important position in Dynasty and in these super flex leagues. I feel where you can draft 2 quarterbacks. And then lastly, I got Justin and Bishop 40-59. Morning Chuba going 4-9, known as Forever Rebuild here in Dynasty. Morning Chuba in Tier 2. I just think for you, Justin, you nailed it on the head. In terms of Forever Rebuild, I think you did draft guys like Restrepo, which obviously is not probably going to pan out for you now. I just think right now you're the weakest team in the division, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure you also ended up in a situation where you were picking in the latter half of the draft as well. So, all right, next up, the international division. So here's a guy that's finally made it up to Tier 1 and was in Tier 2. I don't know for how many years. You might want to comment on it, Vlad, but you were always near the top owners of wanting to advance. And I'm glad you're in Tier 1. And I think you look very dangerous here in Dynasty. I got you going 9-4. You got Jalen Hurts. You got King Henry. I like Pickens having a much better year. You got great flex. You got Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is going to have a huge year. I think a lot of people are doubting him, but I do think he will pan out for you. And I'm pretty sure you can dress him in the DB hole. So, 9-4. I think you're looking good, but this whole division's looking good. I'm not going to lie. And I got Swahino going 8-5. The international division got pretty lucky in where you guys were drafting in terms of the rookie and the main draft. And it definitely shows on all your lineups. And when I look at Eric and Swahino at 8-5, well, Jordan Love, they just got Micah Parsons. Javonte Williams been named the RB1. Justin Jefferson and Nico Collins is your top 2 wide receivers. That's going to be tough to beat on a daily basis. 8-5 for Swahino. He very well could challenge Clan G. Finito, I got you going 6 and 7. Caleb Johnson is not looking as good right now, but Dylan Sampson definitely looks like he might work out for you in terms of those rookie picks. You got Purdy, Garrett Wilson. I'm worried about a wide receiver with a Justin Fields led offense, and that's probably part of the reason why I got you going 6 and 7. And then lastly, I got Dushan going 6 and 7 here with Sabatica Spartans. Josh Allen, one of the best, right? So where do I have the weaknesses? Well, I look at your running backs, James Cook, Najee Harris. We'll see where he's at. Blake Corum not in a full-time role, so that'll hurt you. You do have AJ Brown. I do like Colston Loveland as the process has gone on, so I'm sure you have as well. So we'll see where you end up. I don't think you're a horrible team by any means, but with this tough division, you guys having to play one another, I got you going 6 and 7. Also wanted to say, based on your votes, of course, in Dynasty, we also had Kalen getting 7 out of the 12 votes to win the Canadian division. Age Crew and Green Lightning getting 2. Cowich and Cow Turtles actually got 1. And then for the American division, Killer Sheep dominating there, getting half the votes, 5 out of 10. 2 for Deuce Bombers, 2 for No More, and 1 Forever Rebuild. All right, so we got the playoff predictions now, guys, and this is where things are going to get interesting. So, looking at where I had the records, basically, I would have 8th seed Deuce Bombers taking on Milan and Trenton Golden Knights. 7th seed Memphis Devil Dogs. Even though I had you at 6 and 7, I don't know if I said you were not making the playoffs earlier, but you are making the playoffs. I have you playing Vlad and Klenji in round 1. Swahino versus the Age Crew, if that would be a matchup, I think that would be a thrilling week 1 matchup. And then the Mother Tucker versus Killer Sheep, another great matchup. Moving on in the semifinals, I see actually, Dirk, you doing it. Memphis Devil Dogs representing in the mixed bag division, finding a way to win that game. You'll take on Trenton Golden Knights. I got Mother Tucker versus the Age Crew in the semifinals. And then lastly, the finals, I do predict it's going to be the Age Crew versus the Trenton Golden Knights. And I do feel that the champion at this point definitely looks like it will be Milan and the Trenton Golden Knights. Again, you had a great draft pick scenario, Milan. And it's just going to be up to you to make sure that you're following the waiver wire and finding a way to obviously continue the success that you had in the draft. So if that happens, who knows? I don't know. Obviously, anything can happen. But that is my predictions for Dynasty. All right, so we move on now and we get into the LOC tiered format. So excited about the 3 tiers. The LOC, in my opinion, is the standard when it comes to these tiered fantasy leagues. Move up or move down, but the competition in the leagues get better as you move up. Also, the players get thinner, so your knowledge has to improve. There's long-term owners now in Tier 1 who have actually qualified all the way up from Tier 3. Sabatica Spartans, Swahino, all these teams have had plenty of success moving up from Tier 3. The Age Crew, BC Lions, all those teams moved up from Tier 3 and obviously are Tier 1 owners now. All right, so I'm going to get into the Tier 3 preview here. And with Tier 3, I'm going to be honest, I'm not even going to get into your guys' lineups. I'm going to be more talking about what I see so far. Honestly, if you want to move up in the tiered format, you have to be active, right? I think if you can be active in Tier 3, you're going to do well right off the bat, I feel. Okay, so when I get into it, here's the Canadian division. And this is where, I'm going to call out a few teams too, where it's like, if I don't know your name, I probably don't see much success for you, right? And why don't I know your name yet, right? And that might be very well me have forgotten, and I do apologize for that. But I do have the Canadian division. It's myself, Battle Street Bears and Beckett. This is one of Lucas's referrals. Super stoked on Beckett. You've been super active, and I know you know your football because I know you personally. Ooh, Spicy and Dylan, referral from Hayden in Tier 1. Really excited about what you can bring to the table, Dylan. I can see the activity. You already offered me a trade, which got heavily criticized, unfortunately, for you. But I think it was a decent trade for you. You needed the running back help. I'm excited to see what you can do. I think you just ran into a tough division here this year. And then eat a bag of Nix and Aaron. Again, another referral from Lucas. Another guy I know personally, and another guy I know absolutely knows football. Aaron, appreciate you taking on this shit pile of a team for this year. Trust me, next year you can kind of make this team your own. And hey, there was a team in Tier 3 last year that didn't have his first 5 round picks, and he's in Tier 2 now. He made it up. So anything's possible. American Division. Now, you can see here in the American Division, there's two teams I don't know your name, right? And I'm like, why? I do like Hot Tuba Time Machine. You are a referral from Justin, and I might have just forgot your name. But I think you're a good owner, right? And any referral from Justin, I totally respect. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's been crucial in the growth of the LOC here in the last couple of years. Cannonballs 007. Hey, yeah, I was a bit worried about your activity. Uh, Asked teams to check in. You didn't check in, but you finally made it to the draft. Appreciate you being there. Hope you're enjoying the league so far. Your Dirk's referral from Tier 2. Sorry I didn't catch your name. New England Turncoats. Bruce, awesome guy. Awesome guy. Unfortunately, holds the title of last year's Hugh Jackson's Award winner. I don't think you're going to win it this year, Bruce, and I'm happy to say that. I see improvement for sure this year, and happy to have you in the league. Also one of Dirk's referrals. And then, of course, Sinner Tiger 21. You're a tier 3 veteran. Think it's Bree, right? Is it Bree? Anyways, so happy to have you in the league. Once again, one of Dirk's referrals. And, Bruce and Bree, I love having you both in the league. You're definitely committed to the LZ. Lastly, we got the international division, and I'm so sorry. I do know Black Dog's name. It is Justin, and Black Dog is a team that I think needs to be, a team to watch out for as well. I noticed you joined here late. A guy didn't get back right before the draft. You had an awesome draft. You had a good draft pick scenario as well, where you had a couple extra picks early on. But you're a referral from Shep and Killer Sheep in Tier 1, who has been great owner since he's joined the format. So I'm really looking out for what you can do, Justin. Sorry I didn't update that. I know you provided me your name the other day. Throwbacks, Kyle. Dude, I love you, dude. I think you're going to be awesome in this league. It might take you a bit to move up. We'll see. But I think you're going to show instant improvement. I love the activity. Well, my wife is hotter. Honestly, I do like your activity as well, especially since, we've talked a bit about this being a free league and how much activity is there actually going to be. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Is it Jerry? I'm not 100% sure. You let me know. And then OK Knows 90. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit concerned about your activity. You didn't show up to the draft. You didn't communicate why. I know we talked about it after the fact. Sorry to call you out here, but if you can show that you're a great active owner here in Tier 3, you'll do well. But definitely try to communicate if you can't make that draft or that time. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Vlad's referral, Klenji. I think Klenji made it all the way up from Tier 3, I believe, as well. Spent a lot of times in Tier 2, and I respect Vlad a lot. So happy to have you aboard as well. Looking at it, the playoff teams, I see it being myself, Black Dog, Hot Chuba, Time Machine, Battle Street Bears. So obviously top 3 winning the divisions. I got throwbacks, and my wife is hotter, making the playoffs. Consolation teams, I have the Cannonballs, OK Knows, Ooh Spicy, Turncoats, Eat a Bag of Nicks, Center Tiger 21. Sorry for all those awesome owners down below being consolation teams. Remember, though, the rules, right? You win consolation, you get first overall next year. Don't give up. This league is meant for you to be active year long. Moving forward, I think the champion will be myself. I don't have a big ego. I just think people have made me trades. I can only trade player for player in Tier 3 and Tier 2. And even this trade that just got called out recently, I mean, I'm hitting accept on that, right? So my team looks really, I think, unstoppable, and it's going to be tough to beat me. I don't want to say unstoppable, but I think I am the strongest team. Teams that I think will advance to Tier 3. Or, sorry, this should be will advance to Tier 2. Sorry, spelling error there. Here's the thing. There's 2 teams that are retiring in Tier 1 this year. 2 teams that have been in the league for 7 years. So what that essentially means is we're going to need some new owners, but it also means that we're going to see some teams move up to Tier 2. And it's going to be more than 2 this year. And the teams that I got going right now are Black Dog, Battle Street Bears, My Wife is Hotter, and Throwbacks. So depending on what happens in Tier 1, if one of the retired teams doesn't finish last, I do think one of them is gonna. They're playing out the year, so that's all good, right? But I have one of them finishing likely last, and if that happens, 2 teams will be vacant in Tier 1. Usually only one team moves up from Tier 2. That means 2 teams are going to have to move up from Tier 2. Then 2 teams drop from Tier 2. The rule still stays the same. So 2 teams are going to drop from Tier 2 to Tier 3, meaning 4 teams, 1/3 of Tier 3 is going to move up this year. This is your chance. I got Black Dog, Battle Street Bears, My Wife is Hotter, Throwbacks, making it up to tier two. I have myself as champion. I can't move up though, right? I can move up if I'm going to be one of the teams that would drop out of one of those tiers, and that's a rule that came about this past year. But these are the four teams that I think will move up, and it's only because I think you guys are good active owners and know what you're doing. And there it is. We will need two new owners for the format next year because of the two retirements. When teams retire, we got to replace them, right? Other than that, if no one retires, nobody gets replaced. There's just teams moving up and down, right? I understand good teams have to retire. I'm throwing this out there for everyone. If you're tier one, tier two watching this, and for you tier three owners, if you're liking what you see so far, please invite your buddies, your friends and family. If you think they're going to be into this league, I'd love to have them aboard if it comes from a good referral. Anyways, that's your tier three preview. Good luck this year, guys. I'm really excited to see what these new owners are going to bring to the table. All right, and one thing I did want to mention here to end off tier three, obviously, I did say I would use these in the previews. Winning the division, pretty even in terms of the international division. 7 out of 12 voted. 2 votes going to Black Dog throwbacks, and my wife is hotter. 1 OK knows. Looking at the American division, 7 out of 12 voted. 6 going to Hot Chuba. 1 to Sinner Tiger. And then looking at the Canadian division, there was 8 votes. And 3 to myself and family discounts, 2 to Bag of Nicks, 2 to Spicy, and 1 to Battle Street Bears. All right, everybody. So now we get into tier two, and I couldn't be more excited about the owners here in tier two for a number of reasons. Seeing a lot of rivalries looking like they're going to develop in certain divisions, and really excited to see what we're going to bring. So I'm going to get right into it here. The Canadian Division One previews. Looking at what the league had voted. We're looking at 12 votes out of 16. The majority going with Purple Unis, half of you, 4 of you going with myself, and 2 with Jake and Sandusky Sandman. Well, I'm saying Purple Unis, and Ann, you're going to win the division as well. The talent is well spread out on your team. I like Jalen Hurts, Saquon, Super Bowl champions. All right. Brock Bowers as well as another highlight on your team, as well as many others. You came up from tier 3 with a pretty good situation, I feel, in tier 2, and this is your option to take advantage. I got second going Sandusky Sandman and Jake. I think you got points throughout the lineup, personally. I'm also very impressed, Jake, with how you were able to move up from tier 3 essentially without your first 5 rounders last year. And that's what he did last year, folks. So watch out for this guy. I think he's a guy to watch. King Henry, Chase Brown, Tyreek Hill. These guys are going to put up points every week for you. I do have myself going third, and I think you're going to see likely 3 playoff teams out of Canadian Division 1 because my team's really good too. I got the depth. Devin A-Chain, Kyron Williams, Amon Ra. These guys are going to put up points as well as many others in the lineup. So I do think that my team's going to be pretty good as well. And then lastly, I got maybe a cut candidate here and Ryan and Van Isle Kidnas. I do like that you have Jaden Daniels, Nico Collins, as well as Jonathan Taylor, but the rest of the lineup is just weak in comparison to the rest of the division, especially, and you have to play us a lot, and as well as to the rest of the league. So I think you'll struggle a bit in this division, and it's just kind of bad luck being in CDN Division 1, or your team just sucks. Get better. All right, next we got Canadian Division 2 predictions, and of course all the players in these divisions are Canadian, of course, except for one owner, and we'll talk about that here in a minute with Canadian Division 2. Josh and Silver Bullets, Tier 3 champion last year. Stroud, Bijan, Puka, plus much, much more on this lineup. Your lineup's deep. Again, you were Tier 3 champion. You got first choice of team. In Tier 2, you picked the right situation to move into, I feel. And I say watch out for Silver Bullets and Josh to make some noise. Here's the team that is the American. I know you're American in the Canadian division, but I'm sorry, I don't know your name or I just forgot. It's No Hawk Tua. I do like the fact that you got Baker, Waddle, Jacoby Myers as well, even though there's a bit of a problem there now. I think the team's pretty decent. I think you'll do okay. I see you finishing second in this division. In this division, of course, the majority went Silver Bullets. Eight of us out of the 11, one vote each for the other teams. You like that, and Justin, I love your ownership. I think you're potential to have a great owner, and I think potentially you could even get above Nohawk too. I just think there's some question marks on your lineup, but you do have Lamar. You got T. Higgins, Rasheed Rice. There's one of the question marks. Suspended for 6. I think that's going to hurt you. And then lastly, I got Jordan McLoving it and Jonathan. You got Josh Allen, you got Hampton, you got Garrett Wilson. I don't really trust any wide receiver with a Fields-led offense. I'm worried about that. I think you have weak IDPs, and I think that's going to hurt you. And I just think that IDPs do generate a lot of points in this league. And if yours are weak, you can fall behind the other teams, and that's what I see happening for you here and finishing last in CDN Division 2. All right, now we get into the American division, and I'm happy to say, Dirk, I see you taking this division, right? And when we look at what the votes were, 11 of us voted, 8 of us also felt the same way, 3 also said say my name. But Dirk, I'm happy to see you obviously make mass improvements to this lineup. You had first overall, you got Gianti, you got Derek May, you kept him, you got Drake London. I like the team, and I think you're the division favorite. Say my name and Daniel. I also like your team as well, but I think you do have some flex weakness compared to say Dirk. I do like CMAC. If he comes back to 80% of what he was, I think you'll have a good year. Brian Thomas, AJ Brown. These guys are going to put up huge numbers. So I do like your team as well. I got you finishing second. Jeff and Biscuits and Gravy. I love Gibbs. McLaurin, he signed a contract, right? Caleb Williams. I got the weird thing here. I'm saying not enough Chiefs. So what I'm saying is not enough leaders, not enough WR1s, not enough RB1s, not enough QB1s kind of thing. And I think that'll hurt you compared to the rest of the teams. And then Mr. Irrelevant, I'm sorry. Somehow I've either don't know your name or I forgot. You are a qualifier from Tier 3 last year. Like Jacobs, Travion Henderson is really good. CD. I honestly think whoever you are, whatever your name is, you could surprise if you're more active, right? I was worried about you at the draft. At first, you didn't show up. You were the only one that didn't show up. Finally showed up later in the process. But if you're more active, I could see you surprising. So that's one thing to look out for. American Division 2 now, and predictions there. 4, I think, people that know each other, and it looks like 4, maybe a potential for a good rivalry, and I'm looking forward to that. I do have you, Justin. You've been so good to the league here over the last couple of years, developing it. I got you winning the division. Morning Chuba, I guess is what we're calling you. Mahomes, Chase Brown, RJ Harvey as some of your top guys. Nice draft as well. I was watching the draft. You were picking some really good names. Looking at the rest of the league, there's 11 of us that voted on American Division 2. 4 went Scottish Highlanders, 3 went with you, and then 2 each for Bishop, Sycamore, and Super Camp. So this was the toughest division I feel to call. And if I went in deep into it, like win-loss like I do for Tier 1, maybe I might think different. But based on what the overall lineup is, I'm going with you, Justin. Robert and Scottish Highlanders, though, I got you number 2. Of course, I've been criticizing everybody that's picked Ted McMillan this year, and I'm going to criticize you. Guy might be unreal, and I could be totally wrong. I just have this bad feeling. I do think Tyler Warren's going to be fantastic, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say Kelsey. Kelsey in his last year. Does he get the wedding ring for Taylor Swift? Good, and that's why I think you could be dangerous this year, because I think Kelsey is going to be much better than he was last year as well, just based on the fact it's his last year. I got Cody and Bishop Sycamore finishing 3rd. I like Bo Nix, Kenneth Walker, Justin Jefferson. I got you being the last wild card team. So I got you sneaking into the playoffs. I think your lineup is good enough to get in. And it's basically going to be 3-3-1-1 based on who's going to get in, the 8 teams. And Super Cam, again, another team that I either just don't know your name or I forgot. But we got Joe Burrow, Malik Neighbors, Sam Laporta. I do like Burrow. I got him in Tier 1. I love him. Neighbors is unbelievable, but I think you got some flex concerns, and that's going to hurt you based on depth versus the other teams. Getting into playoff predictions first round, based on where I have you finishing, got Bishop Sycamore as that last seed. I got Silver Bullets finishing first. Johnny Eight Balls, that's myself. I have myself taking on Purple Unis, the CDN1 champ. Scottish Highlanders, I got you taking on Memphis Mafia. That looked like it'd be a hell of a matchup in Tier 1. And Sandusky Sandman and Morning Chuba is where I have the first round predictions. Moving into the semifinals, I have myself winning that matchup versus Purple Unis, getting the upset. I got myself playing Josh as the seventh seed in the next round. I got Sandusky Sandman taking out the American Division 2 champion Morning Chuba, and I got him taking on American Division 1 champ Memphis Mafia. Can he run the table on the Americans? Prediction finals. I got Sandusky Sandman versus Silver Bullets. I think these two teams are going to make the hop, skip, jump potentially from tier 3 to tier 2 to tier 1. I like what Jake has brought, the fact of how he made it up here, having those limited picks. And Josh, you've been put into a good scenario here where you can get the hop, skip, jump. And I know you know enough football to show that you can definitely be a contender in this league. So as far as the champion goes, I'm going to go Silver Bullets. I'm going to go Josh. He's going to get tier 3, tier 2 under his belt, both championships, heading up to tier 1. But the good news for both of you is no matter what, both of you will advance to tier 1. I am not sure if you know this, but two teams have officially retired in tier 1. They're going to play this last year out. They've been in tier 1 for 7 years. They moved all the way up from tier 3. So I'm sad to see both those owners go. We're all leaving on good terms, so nothing wrong there. So a minimum 2 spots will be available. I do forecast that one of the retired teams likely will finish last, which essentially means that there's only going to be 2 teams that move up. But if a team other than the 2 retired teams finishes last, there is an opportunity for 3 teams to move up from tier 2. And that also means 5 teams would move up from tier 3. Okay. And we do need to find 2 new owners so far for the format for next year. So if you have friends, family members, or in your network that wants to join an awesome league, you send them my way. And for those teams that I'm unknown forgot, love to know your name. This is like the Cash to Cheers, where everyone knows your name. Anyways, good luck this year in tier 2. Loving the ownership. Love all you guys in tier 2, and I love all what you all are bringing and making tier 2 a very strong league. Thanks again. All right, folks. So we've reached that point now here in the preview where we've reached the Mecca, and it's LOC Tier 1 League of Champions. And I gotta be honest. This is probably the best group, or the group I've been most excited about in a long time. I just think the owners here are very respectful, great owners, and have contributed to the growth of the LOC in some way, shape, form, or another. I just want to say I'm excited about getting this season kicked off. So we're going to go one by one here. We're going to start with Ramrods, and Nicole did give me his predictions as well. So you can see here, obviously, Ramrods is Hayden. And Hayden, I will say this, you've been unbelievable in contributing to the growth of the LOC. There's no doubt about that. You've brought in a lot of great owners, and I just want to thank you for that. My projected finish for you is 5th. You can see I have you going 6 and 7. Co's got you going 5 and 8. I think this is one of those years where you're just going to have to find a way to survive without giving up the draft capital. I mean, let's face it. You traded Ashton Gianti and others for Aaron Jones, right? And I mean, you did survive, but you won the consolation. Did you have to win the consolation? Not really, right? Especially since you had the first round gone. And obviously, Brian was the victor of that. Looking at your team, I think you're in a bit tough, right? Darnold, we'll see. I think you did okay with the draft picks that you had, though, right? I think the running game's okay. You got Aaron Jones, ETN, Chubb, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen. It looks like more like an old folks home in your wide receiver room than anything else. But again, with those old guys, if they can carry you through to at least a survival year and you don't have to give up the draft capital, I think you'll do okay. Your defense, yeah, it's got some holes for sure, but you do have some linebackers that likely will contribute. And, looking at your bench, there's not much going on there either. So I think it's going to be one of those years for you where you just got to hope to claw out a few wins. And I would say the one benefit you have is the American division is probably one of the more weaker divisions this year for sure. Next up, we got a new owner, and a new owner that wasn't scared to take the 1 year grace, and that's Shep and Banjo Blitz. Obviously, first year here in Tier 1. I'm projecting you to finish fourth in the American division. I got you going 6 and 7 before the flex weeks, as well as Co as well. Um, looking at your team, I think the prior owner, you took over the champions team actually, and the prior owner, if he won the championship, obviously had some good keepers, and he did. And you obviously kept those guys: Neighbors, Lamb, Jaden Daniels, Kyron Williams, Devontae Smith. It's just the pick scenario he left for you wasn't great, right? So what it did is it really hurt the depth of the rest of your team. You might get lucky with Amari Cooper going to Vegas. Tyquan Thornton might have a role here early on thanks to the suspension. Defense is looking kind of weak. I'm already looking. Jabril Peppers released. You got Deontay Johnson on the bench. He's been released. Pierre Strong, I think, has been released. So a lot of things going on. I do like Grant Greenard on your team. I think he's going to put up some sacks for sure. Brian Branch, obviously, a good contributor. But I think for you to get the wins, it's going to have to be guys like CD, Neighbors, Daniels going off. And those guys can win games all by themselves. And if you can find a way to just kind of maybe make a few trades if you want to win this year, I mean, I know you didn't take the Grays, or, you obviously set yourself up nicely for next year and have a full complement of picks. It's really going to be up to you on how you proceed, but 6 and 7 is where I got you. Next up, we got LOC Veteran, and I mean LOC Veteran because he spent a lot of time in Tier 2, and now he's in Tier 1, and this is his fourth year in Tier 1. Is Chris No More, another guy that's been so great for this league. I got you finishing third in the American, Chris. I got you going 6 and 7 before the flex week. Cole feels a little bit differently, obviously. He's got you going 9 and 4. He feels pretty strongly about your team, and I think you do have a pretty decent team, right? There's no doubt about Bo Nix. We'll see what he does in his second year of development. When's Judkins coming back? And when Judkins does come back, I think he's going to help your team immensely, especially since you have Chuba and Tyrone Tracy in that running room, too. That's a decent running room. Um, One thing I don't like is two wide receivers on the same team where there with Jacoby Myers and Dante Thornton. It's not an offense that I think is going to put up huge numbers either. So that could limit some of your points week to week. And you're looking at your flex spots kind of weak, right? Stevenson's probably losing his job. Jalen Coker, who you have dressed right now, he's on IR. So you're going to obviously have to plug and play someone else off your bench. And, that's either going to be Greg Dortch or MVS. So not the greatest option. I do like your DL room though. Will Anderson and Trey Hendrickson does scare a lot of teams, I feel. And you do got some good linebackers. I also love the Nick M and Worry pick when you made it in the draft. I think that kid's going to be pretty good DB for the future. It's coffee time, so just give me a moment. But yeah, when you picked him, I thought it was great. And you also have Paulson and Debo, who could put up big numbers. So your IDPs look pretty decent, and I do think you're probably going to have a pretty decent year, and very well could finish closer to that 9 and 4, like Co said. Looking at who I project to finish second, this has might have changed a little bit, to be honest, with recent developments in the offseason. But we got Stewart and Sky Blue Army. Again, story for Stewart. Spent many years in Tier 2, and then finally qualified for the LFC, and then you backed out. And then obviously, we had the issues in Dynasty. Dynasty got reborn. You came back. You deserved this spot in Tier 1. You did your time. So for anyone wondering if Stewart deserves to be here, he definitely does. I got him projected finish second, 7 and 6, Co 5 and 8. Things have changed a little bit though, and what's changed, I think, for you, Stewart, is a lot of injuries. Right? We got Jalen Wright, he's out. Rasheed Rice, the suspension now. Jaden Reed, he's out. Derek Harmon, he's out. Right? So the injuries keep piling up, and I think that's going to be a bit of a problem for you early on, and it might cost you some wins, and might put you in a position where you're closer to Co's projection. I do like some of your picks that you made though, like Tyler Warren. I think is going to be someone that could contribute or be a keeper for you. You got good receivers, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin signed a contract. The running room's a bit to be desired. We'll see how long Javonte Williams hangs on to that RB1 role. And of course, the injury to Jalen Wright. Kendry Miller's been a bit of a bust since he's joined the league. So you could face some challenges there early on, and that could potentially cost you and maybe have no more take you over there for second in the American division. But time remains to be seen. Next up, this is who I predict to win the American division, and that's Deuce Bombers. I got him going 8-5. Co doesn't feel very good about Deuce Bombers at all. He's got him going 4-9. Obviously, a guy that's been around in this league for a long year, 11th year. It was only the first year he wasn't here. He is a former champion. 2017 is the last time Deuce was able to raise the championship, and I'm sure he would love to raise it again and get his fourth division title. For me, Deuce, I think you got the three running backs, JT, Brees Hall, ETN. Well, Trevor ETN, I mean, he's not going to put up numbers, so he's kind of a vacant spot. But I do like Travis Hunter. I think he was the right pick for you there. You got Mahomes, of course. Olave, Xavier Legette's role is probably going to get bigger based on recent news. Mark Andrews is the top tight end. Your defense looks pretty good too with Edmonds, El Shahir in the linebacking hole, and you got Jaquan Brisker. And then your bench is full of kind of, I'm going to call rookie flyers, right? Like Efton Chisholm. These are guys that could contribute later on in the year and literally win you games, right? So people have to remember that these rookies do get opportunities later on and do win you games. I will say this, the league, when we did the vote on this, 15 voted, 8 said no more. So obviously right there with what Lucas has to say, 3 went Deuce Bombers, 3 went Sky Blue Army, and 1 went Ramrods. So nobody went Banjo Blitz. Sorry, Shep, but my vote is Deuce, and obviously I'm going against the grain in the rest of the league. But yeah, with recent developments, no more very well could definitely take that second spot, but I'm going to stick to my original prediction. Next up, we got the red and white division, and we're going to start with Stan here, unfortunately retiring this year. Sad to see it go, Stan. Seventh year here in the LOC. You made it all the way up from tier three. I will always say this: good luck in real retirement, right? And obviously, I'm a few years off that for sure. But I'm happy for you, and I hope you and your family have made the right decision for you in your new, I guess, say area you live in. I got you going 3-10, and I have you finishing dead last. So good luck or good news for the rest of the league. I feel Stan will finish dead last, which means no one will drop based on the new retirement rule. And thank God we put that rule in, right? I mean, let's face it, should I have dropped last year? No, it should have been get her done, right? So, it's Stan's that team. He's the guy that, should drop, and nobody should drop that's an active owner, right? Co's got you going 3-10 as well, but he also does not have you finishing dead last. I will point that out. You probably have the best running room in the entire LOC, to be honest. Cook, Connor, Gibbs. I don't think it gets much better than that. Caleb Williams, we'll have to see if he ascends or descends in year two. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about him. I think the weaknesses for you, obviously, looking at it, WR3 is Jalen Noel. Nothing against Noel. I think he's going to be a decent player, but when you look at everybody else's WR3s out there, a lot better talent, and your flex is really weak when we compare it to probably even some of the flex positions in this division. You got Bobo, Tylen Wallace, Kadero Hodge. That's not going to scare anyone. And I think that ultimately will be your weakness into plummeting here in 3-10 record. Appreciate you managing the team till the end of the year, though. I know it's hard when you know you're done and have to manage a team, but I know you'll do your best, Dan. But thanks for your support all the years. Next up, it's the wife fighting geese, Susie. I don't see good things for you this year. Sorry. Obviously, original owner. You did win the championship back in 2019. You have never had much playoff success. You've made the playoffs a lot. Haven't had a lot of success, though, to be honest. I got you finishing fourth, 5-8 record. Co sees you not doing so well either at 4-9. It's not that you have a bad offense. I think you actually did pretty good building your offense. Dak should, throw a lot of passes, I'm assuming. Pollard, Charbonnet. Charbonnet, obviously, offseason has been kind of both those running backs because of the injury to Spears as well for Pollard. Marvin Harrison should ascend in year two, as well as Keon Coleman. You got Flowers there. You're going there. Two rookie tight ends, Ferguson and Fannin. I think both those guys are going to have some pretty decent roles. And your flex. So we just talked about Stan's flex, Bobo, Wallace, and Hodge. You got Tillman, Whittington and Vele. I mean, those are great flex positions if we're comparing to Stan, obviously. Where your weakness is defense, your linebacking group could be the worst in the league, with the exception of TJ Edwards. And there's not a lot of linebackers left available in the free agent pool. So I think ultimately in the end, your IDPs and your defense is going to be your weakness and will cost you some wins. And you're in a tough division, right? So this is probably the toughest division in the league this year. And obviously, playing the opponents more is going to attribute to some losses. So we'll see how you pan out. But obviously, I don't see it being a cut candidate or anything at this point. Next up, very sad to see this team go as well. The H Crew and Adrian, also seventh year in the LSC. You made it from tier three. The thing I remember most about your ownership, Adrian, is the fact, and grateful that you did this because a lot of teams would have ran away. Your first year in the LSC, you didn't have a pick for the first 13 rounds, is what I remember. And that's why the 5 and 10 rule exists, because teams were leaving behind shit piles like that. You did it, you survived, and that was a credit to you in that year. You've never been really able to find the winning track. I mean, you did score one division title since you've been here. I got you finishing third, 5 and 8. Coe's got you going 3 and 10, and he thinks you're the retired team that's going to finish dead last. So the good news is, based on me and Coe's predictions, none of the active teams are going to drop because we just have different retired teams finishing last. When I compare Age Crew's flex to BC Lions, though, there's no way I think Age Crew is weaker than BC Lions. Again, talked about BC Lions flex there with Bobo and others. Age Crew has Dobbs, Reynolds, and Franklin. All those guys are going to contribute points. In the case of Franklin, the offseason's been good to him. Well, Reynolds too, even Dobbs for the most part. Your running game outside Saquon Barkley, things didn't go so well for you. You had Brian Robinson, which obviously not going to be a primary back. And, you got Haskins there who might have a role. I don't know where Najee Harris is at. Your wide receiver room is okay, but there is question marks like Jalen Waddle's your WR1. Like, even if you compare that, say, like Banjo Blitz, who we just did, has CD Lamb, Neighbors as 1-2, and you got Waddle as your one. So that's going to hurt you a little bit. You got the veteran tight ends there. Your defense is okay, I guess. It's somewhat weak. It looks like you are relying a little bit more on pass rusher points, which is a little bit more boom and bust. Sometimes pass rushers can only get you 1.2 points, but then sometimes they get you 3 sacks and they win you the week, right? So I think that'll be ultimately the determining factor for you. And, the booms will get you some wins, but I think the busts will also get you some losses. Adrian, thank you so much for your support over the years. It's going to be sad to see it go. And it's really sad to see you and Stan both leave, just because you both have been incredible active owners and have always been supportive of the commission, the LLC. Next up, I got myself finishing second. Always have a bit of a hard time talking about myself and my team, but obviously won the championship there 5 years ago. I got myself going 8-5. Co's got me going 8-5 as well. I think I am an 8-5 team. It's that simple. I do like the roster, though. I think Burrow is going to have a huge year. I love the running back depth. Harvey, Mason, Benson, Braylon Allen, Jaden Blue. I mean, I think all these guys are going to have roles. Love the fact that Renfro just signed to Carolina. I think he does get some PPR points for me. Wide receiver room. I mean, I got Matthew Golden in the draft. Drake London's going to be a mainstay for me. I'm going rookie tight end strategy too with Mason Taylor, Arroyo. And, I also think I got a decent DL room, probably one of the best in the league, Abdul Carter and Miles Garrett, right? So top picks in the draft when they were drafted in real life, and guys that I think are going to obviously contribute. And even my bench, I think, looks pretty good. I got guys that I can plug and play. So I think I'm set up for a pretty decent year and could surprise some teams this year. Lastly, in the red and white, sorry, I have Brian winning the title. Looking for his fourth division title. I think Brian, for you, the setup 1-2 right in the draft is set you up nicely for many years to come. You can see me and Cole both project you to finish 11-2. You again, when we look at your running room, I mean Jacobs, Walker, Gianti, obviously you got Travian Henderson. Tight end room is tight. You got Kincaid, Ferguson. Those guys are going to put up big numbers along with Fryermuth as well. So three solid tight ends. Even the rookies you picked, Ian Manar, I think is how you say his name. I don't know. And the other guy there, Tesla. Those guys look like they're going to actually work out for you at some point, or might even be maybe considered as future keepers. We'll see. Even if they have a role, I think that's huge for you. The main wide receiver room is going to be your weakness, right? And Dunze, Roman Wilson, Jerry Judy is your top three. I mean, when we compare that to Banjo Blitz with CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors and Devontae Smith, I mean, yikes, right? But the rest of your lineup obviously is really good. Jared Goff, I'm a bit concerned about. That line got a bit weaker in Detroit, so he's not a mobile quarterback. So sacks get you minus points on quarterbacks. Your defense is very strong. Your linebacking group is very strong. Your DBs this year look really good. I would say the only weakness you got in your defense is maybe DL, Trayvon Walker and Kayvon Thibodeau. They're decent, but I don't think they're near the top five or top 10, let's say. So I think that's more middle of the road for you. You do have Stafford as a backup that I think could work out. And I'm also a fan of DJ Giddens, by the way. I've liked him the entire process. So I think your team just looks unbelievably strong this year, Brian, and I think only injuries can really take you down. The league feels the same way. We had 14 votes. 11 people said you're winning the division, two for me, and one for the age crew. No votes for Fighting Geese and BC Lions to win the division. Next up, we go into the Maple Leaf division now, the other division loaded with Canadians. And this time we got Kalen and the mother Tucker. First year in the LOC, spent his time in Tier 2. Also an owner that made it all the way from Tier 3, I believe. I got you finishing last in the Maple Leaf 4-9. Co feels a little bit better about your team. He thinks you're going to go 6-7. I think for you, Kalen, a big part of your success is going to be centered around how well CMAC does. Does he stay healthy? If he does, that's going to work out for you. You got Hampton at pick 3, which is huge. Another great running back. And now it's Chris Rodriguez. The offseason news was kind to you there. And now you have a formidable starting 3. Lamar Jackson could very well be fantasy player of the year. This is the quarterback you want in fantasy. You got AJ Brown, Ridley. Those are wide receivers that contribute. A little bit worried about your flex spots, right? Tutu Atwell, Matt Collins, Rashad White. I don't think scares a lot of people. I think Sean Tucker is going to be the primary backup in Tampa Bay. And I think Whittington is the WR3 in LA, not Atwell. And then the other part of your team that I'm really not high on is your IDPs. You got Kaiser White, who's not even on a roster. KJ Britt, I don't think will see the field in Miami. And the problem is that with those guys is they're linebackers, and there's no linebackers to pick up right now. So I notice you do have some DL LBs that you can plug and play in that position, which might be beneficial for you. The other thing that hurts you, Joe Mixon, is this guy going to even see the field? I don't think he's going to this year. So this is part of the reason why I have it finishing last in the Maple Leaf. It's the morning, guys, so I'm getting my coffee in, obviously. All right, next, I got fourth in the division. Sorry, Co. It's going to be you, Lucas. I thought you had probably one of the worst drafts out of all the LOC participants this year. Very reminiscent of when you picked Dante Foreman that one year, late in round 1. You picked Najee Harris late in round 1. A little bit different. Dante Foreman had been released an hour before the draft that year. Now you're picking Najee Harris, who obviously everybody knew about the eye injury, right? So I just thought there was a lot of risk there for you to take that player, and it's a bit of a homer pick, you being a Charger fan, but that's where I made mistakes in the past with being picking Browns, and you obviously love your Chargers, and I get it. I got you going 5-8. Yeah, you got yourself going 6-7. There are a few things I love about your team. Bucky Irvin's one of them. Obviously, you got Herbert, should be a decent quarterback. Your starting 3 at wide receiver are pretty good, right? Ladd McConkey, George Pickens, Josh Downs. I like all 3 of those guys to have some decent numbers. Your tight ends, I'm worried about. Goddard hurt all the time. Kate Auden's already hurt. I noticed you didn't pick up the backup. That's going to hurt you as well. Najee Harris is in your starting lineup. Is he actually going to play? And then Hollywood Brown is hurt all the time. So that hurts me or scares me about you, because you just don't have a lot of bench players that you could plug and play. And even your defense, when I look at your starting 3 linebackers, EJ Speed, Davis Gaither, and Oren Burks are not going to scare anyone. compared to the rest of the league and some of the other linebacking groups out there. So that's going to hurt you. Your DL group looks great, though. Micah Parsons, Brian Burns. I think those are two of the better DLs to have and very well could help you with some of those numbers, especially if Parsons has to prove himself in Green Bay. Sorry, a bit congested here today, fighting off a cold. All right, next up, third, we got Storm and Krista in this division, of course, original owner. I got you projected to finish third, Krista. I think you bought a little bit last year, hurt you in terms of the draft scenario this year. I got you going 5-8. Co's got you going 4-9. There are a few things I like about your team. King Henry, Jalen Warren, those guys are going to have huge roles in a usually run-heavy NFC North division. Baker, I think, is a great quarterback. You got to Sutton, Williams, and Palmer as your starting three wide receivers. I don't think that's going to scare a lot of teams compared to some of the other starting threes out there. Always kind of go back to Banjo Blitz, having Lamb, Neighbors, and Devontae Smith as the group. And then, looking at your tight ends of Okonkwo and Sanders, a lot of question marks there, I feel. Luther Burton, you picked him in the first round. I think a great player, just not going to be great this year in a redraft format. I think great dynasty pick, right? Could very well be a keeper for you if you're willing to hold on to him. And I'm not scared of your linebacking room as well. I think it's one of the weaker in the league. Derek Barnes doesn't scare me. Trenton Simpson, I think, will eventually lose his job. He's never been very good. And Leo Chanel doesn't scare me as well. So your linebacking room and your IDPs is essentially going to probably be your ultimate weakness. I do think that obviously Jordan Addison will help when he comes back from his 3-game suspension. Might help you get some wins and more points. Early on, no, to miss him in the first 3 games sucks because obviously no bye weeks. So, really does hurt you losing a positional player like that. That's why you have Josh Palmer, obviously, and as your starting 3. I think it's going to be a challenging year for you, Krista, but I don't think you're a cut candidate by any means. Next up, we got the 6th Milan. I got you finishing second this year, Milan, in this division, 8-5. Co has you the same. Original owner. You've only had the one division title. I don't think you're going to get one this year. You're still looking for your first playoff win ever in the LOC. Is this your year? Well, I'll be honest with you, Milan. I got you going 8-5, and I don't think it's because of how good your roster is. You have the easiest schedule in the format. Every time I was going through each week in the matchup, you seemed to land on teams that had their bye weeks and bad spots, and you were okay. And you're going to get a lot of wins because of it, and it's going to get you into the playoffs. Whether or not you'll be a pretender in the playoffs will be up to you, and whether or not you make some moves. Stroud's awesome, right? You got Worthy, Higgins. Those are 2 decent receivers. Juwan Jennings, worried about his situation. The tight end room's one of the best in the league, if not the best. Kittle and Pitts. Your running room's a concern, though. Caleb Johnson, Cam Scatabo, good rookie running backs, and I don't think they're the wrong picks by any means by you, but at the same time, what role are they going to have early on? You're going to have to hope these guys have roles later on. Maybe Pittsburgh and the Giants struggle, and then they see what the young guys have, which could help you. You have some decent flex, obviously. Rashad Bateman, Mike Gesicki are going to get points, so if your flex are putting up points, so it's good. You also have one of the best DL rooms in the league, Crosby, Danielle Hunter. That does scare some teams. There's no doubt about that. And then even the defense is pretty good, right? Old man Bobby Wagner should still get his tackles. Little bit worried about your bench, to be honest. John Beck, he's turned out to be a bit of a bust pick for you, no doubt about that. I saw bust in him right from the get-go. And Kenneth Gainwell could put up some snaps for you, taking a chance on JJ McCarthy. But again, we'll have to see if you're a pretender when you make the playoffs. But you do have an easy schedule, and I think it will help you in the wins column this year. Lastly, me and Co think that the division champion in the Maple Leaf will be Danny and Billsy Bobs. I got him going 10-3. Co's got 12-1. When we look at what the rest of the league said, we had 14 votes. 10 said Billsy Bobs is going to win the division. So obviously we were right there with the league. 2 went to 6, 1 each for Mother Tucker and Green Lightning, and not a single vote for Storm. What I like about Billsy Bob's team, pretty clear, right? Josh Allen could be the best quarterback in fantasy. Jamar Chase could be the best wide receiver in fantasy. And this is what people don't get, right? And we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but those guys could put up 40 each week, right? That's 80. Good luck beating that. Like, I don't care how much depth you have, right? Like, when those guys put up those kinds of numbers, you can't win unless maybe your DL put up 3 sacks and put up 30 in the DL hole, right? Like that's the advantage that Billsy Bob's going to have. And it's not like the rest of the lineup sucks. He's got a decent running room. He's got AK, DeAndre Swift, Rico Dowdle. There's DJ Moore in the wide receiver room. Mims, the tight ends are solid. And Joku, Ertz, Thielen going to Minnesota just helped your situation. Great linebackers with Jordan Brooks, Nick Benito, Zaire Franklin, of course, which is basically your ID pick, deep number one IDP to pick. And even the bench, you got some plug and play guys that could put up limited points, but at least still could put up points. Offseason wasn't good to Jalen McMillan for you. But, off season's usually not good to a lot of teams. And if it's just one guy going down for you, I think you're going to be okay. And I think you're a team definitely that could go far this year, Danny. All right, we get to the last division here. I'm just going to take a sip of coffee. And we got, in my opinion, going to finish fifth. The team that made it all the way from tier three, my brother, Dushan and Subotica Spartans. I got you going 4-9, but again, kind of like No More and Sky Blue Army, I think things have changed since I did this win-loss projection. Things have worked out in your favor in the offseason. Coe's got you going 7-6, and he could very well be right about where you're headed. Um, yeah, just a few things have been working out for you in the offseason lately. I love Hurts. The big thing that worked out for you this offseason, Krosky Merritt, what a pick for you there. He could have a role. You do have Eckler, though, so to have two running backs on the same team does kind of suck. You got Brian Thomas. I have maybe a lower rating on you because you did pick Tet McMillan. With you only having Eckler's running back keeper, Dushan, I think you probably should have picked RJ Harvey there. I was happy you didn't because I got RJ Harvey, and RJ Harvey very well might not have a role. I was actually reading yesterday that J.K. Dobbins is the clear-cut one there because of his pass protection. So you might have known that, and that's why you went Tet McMillan. Tet McMillan definitely looks like he has a path to WR1 numbers, right? At least in Carolina. Again, you got Brian Thomas. Pittman should have some points. I think Kelsey in his last year is going to go off. I do like D-Hop for you as well. And your defense is solid. Like we got Roquan Smith. We got Bernard on in linebacker. DLs are a little bit to be desired, even with your DBs kind of a little bit on the weaker side. You got great bench players, though. Noah Brown could be plugged in, Tim Patrick, Elijah Moore. You also just picked up Devin Culp, the backup tight end for Tampa Bay. So I think you have a decent team. The challenge, I think, with you as well as other teams in this division, just like the red and white, I think the international division is quite strong this year. And again, we play our division opponents more, so that'll affect you a little bit just in terms of in the wins column. But yeah, you might end up somewhere in the middle of where myself and Co have you. Next up, it's your brother Dushan, and I got him finishing fourth. First year in the LSC, did take the Grace this year. Sky Blue Army and Mother Tucker also took the Grace this year. So 3 teams on the Grace. I have you going 6-7, Vlad. Co's got you going 10-3. Co's probably looking at it like you're going to keep your full roster all year. You already made it clear publicly that if you're surviving, you're going to be trading and selling. And I don't blame you. Why would you not set yourself up next year for success? Considering you're in the Grace here, you got a lot of building blocks. Drake May, Chase Brown, Tank Bigsby should get you some points. You're not sure if he's a keeper. Egbuka, great pick. Brock Bowers. I mean, these are great building blocks. JSN. Even your flex spots are looking pretty good, other than fact Savion Williams, not sure what role he have. Linebackers look great. Bobby O, Jack Campbell, Quay Walker, Tyrese Knight. I mean, some of the best linebacking groups in the league there. TJ Watt, even your bench players are great plug and play. Like Damian Pierce should probably be in your starting lineup and not Savion Williams, which obviously gives you more points right from the get-go. So Vlad, I think you're a great addition to tier one. You did your time in tier two. The thing is, guys like Stewart, Chris, and no more, I'm sure they probably remember you in tier two, and you three were always near the top in terms of teams trying to get up. That consistency tells me you guys are good owners, and it's just great to see all up here now in tier one. Next up, we got Eric and Suhino. Eric, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, look at your success, right? Best career win percentage. You made it all the way up from tier three, seventh year. You have three division titles. You made the playoffs a ton. You see your playoff record is not the greatest. So I personally feel all you got to do, Eric, is make a couple of trades. You're always there every year, but if you make a couple of trades, that might push you over the top. I know it sucks for next year, but don't you want to win the money? Right? Like sometimes you got to take risk to make money, right? Like I know this. I do this for a living, right? So it says fourth in the international division. It's supposed to be third. I got you going 6 and 7. Cole's got you going 4 and 9. When I look at it, so the thing that actually annoys me about you is I've been looking up IDPs and I think, oh, that guy's got decent value. You always have him. You got the guy. I'm like, how does he know about this guy? Anyway, so you know your stuff. J.K. Dobbins, I just talked about him. He could be literally the number one there. I think he probably is. Jordan Love, he's got a lot of weapons, should have a big year. Your other running backs we'll see with Ray Davis, Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell had a great offseason, so we'll see. Your wide receiver room's great, though. Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, Rashid Shaheed. I think that wide receiver room is right there with Banjo Blitz, to be perfectly honest with you, with Lamb Neighbors and Devontae Smith. You got great tight ends, Hawkinson, Loveland. The offseason was great for you with Ollie Gordon. What a pick that is. I mean, right now, Sleeper's got Ollie Gordon projected to get 10.35 week one. That's huge. Zach Bond, Carson Wessinger as linebackers, those look really good. And then, you're going with a couple of rookie DLs. We'll see where that puts you. Sometimes the rookies don't deliver as much as they normally do. And then, looking at your bench, you got some players like Jalen Lane could develop into a larger role. Kyle Williams, the same thing. Early on, they're probably not going to be big roles. But later on in the year, that could work out for you. And you even got Kalen Bullock on your bench, a DB that has obviously had a great preseason as well. So, like your team, Suhino, honestly, I think you could even finish better than 6 and 7. But once again, this division is pretty competitive. All right, so I got Luke finishing second here, 8 and 5. Co's got him going 9 and 4. Pretty sure Co has you winning the division, Luke. I love what you've done to this team so far. This is your 10th year now heading into the LOC. You do have the one division title. You've made the playoffs a handful of times. There's no doubt about it. And I do think you're setting yourself up for success. I love the fact you got Bijan, you got Justin Jefferson, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Trey McBride. You kept the top players at these positions. Like those are the guys that are going to win you leagues and games. You also drafted Dylan Sampson, who I think is going to have a big role. I loved your Stephon Diggs pick because WR1. Why would you not pick that and get wins? You got Mike Evans there. You got Sean Tucker, who I heard is going to be the primary backup, not Rashad White for Tampa Bay. And then, even when I look at your defense, I love that you have back Aiden Hutchinson. The offseason news worked out for you with Denzel Perryman, with Colson going to IR. You got young linebacker and Jihad Campbell. The IDPs are a little bit more on the weaker side compared to some teams, but I think you have, a decent room. And then I love your bench too. LaQuint Allen, Tyler Beatty, I love that pickup by you. Zacchaeus, Jimmy Horn. When you picked up Jimmy Horn, I got him in Dynasty. I think I have him in tier two. I totally forgot about him when we did the tier one draft and you picked him. I'm like, damn, good pick, Luke. So you've done some great things. And yeah, I think, you're a solid owner and team to look out for this year as well. Lastly, I have Finn winning the division. I do have him going 8 and 5 as well with Luke. You can see Co's got him going 7 and 6. Third year in the league for you, Finn. Another team where I kind of keep looking up players and you have them on your team. You obviously know your stuff. I love the international division with the rivalry with the brothers. Someone once criticized this for being a family league. Why not? Why wouldn't you want to have your brother in there? I mean, for me, my brother is my biggest competitor. I mean, I don't want him to win, right? I want to win. So, anyways, it's just funny. And I think it just breeds natural competition. Your team, Puka, I got Isaiah Pacheco, Montgomery, a chain. Those are awesome. Pop Douglas is going to put up points. Tucker Kraft, I love that. Even your flex, Michael Wilson, WR2, McLeod's going to have a role early on. Trey Tucker is going to have a role. And then even looking at your defense, I love the fact that you did the multi positions, right? So James Williams, I've been a big fan of. Christian Ellis, you could plug him in the DL hole. He's getting LB numbers for you. So I love what you did on defense there. Obviously, Carly's got hurt, but you get the point. To be able to mix and match at IDP, I think is pretty huge for you. The bench isn't at that solid, but we'll see. Like guys like Christian Watson could get healthy and very well could have a role later on. Jalen Tolbert as well. If some injuries happen, but I just like the overall makeup. You even have rookies like Jaden Higgins who could contribute right away, and then Brock Purdy. We'll see on him if there's one point of contention for a team. Bit worried about Brock Purdy just because the receivers in San Francisco and that room is pretty weak, right? So. Looking at what the rest of the league had to say, we had 15 votes. Six went to Too Good, four to Swahino, only two to Finn, two to Clengy, and one to Sabatica. So everybody getting a little bit of flavor from the rest of the league. But yeah, I think Finn is my choice for international division winner. So now we get into playoff predictions. I have Swahino finishing as the eighth seed. If Swahino is finishing as the eighth seed, man, there are going to be some good playoff teams. I got Brian, the number one seed. The six is the seventh seed, playing his bro Danny in the second seed. Too good for a name. I got finishing as the sixth seed, would take on Finito, and we'd find out who is the best international division team. And then I have myself finishing fifth, and would take on Ryan and Deuce Bombers as the fourth seed. Heading into the semifinals, I see Too Good taking out Finn and 12th man, obviously continuing his success as the first seed. I got myself beating Deuce Bombers. Billsy Bobs will find a way to win as the second seed. So my prediction for the finals this year is Billsy Bobs in the 12th man. Those are the top two teams on Sleeper. They're the top two teams as well from Fantasy Pros, and I also feel the same way. Just so you know, Co also has the same finals prediction. So obviously we both feel the same way. Here's my prediction on teams that will drop. I think no one. I think BC Lions is going to finish last, and of course, Co thinks Age Crew is going to finish last. Both those teams are going to be replaced as they both retire, so we will need two new owners next year for the format to replace those two teams. So if anyone has friends, family in their network, I'm always encouraging them to bring them my way, especially if they're just like you as an owner. If you've made it this far, you're an LOC caliber owner. My consolation playoffs winner is going to be Stuart and Sky Blue Army. This is where I'm going to give you a tip, Stuart, and anyone else that's made it this far in the video. Sometimes it's better to get first overall than sell and get two or three first. Think about it this way. The teams that are buying, they're likely going to win the championship. So what do you want? Do you want first overall, or would you want 11th and 20th pick, right? Like first overall is the guy you want. So just remember that teams, especially teams that took the grace, like Clengy, you said you're going to sell off. You know, what if you're in the consolation playoffs with that lineup? You're going to win, right? Or even Sky Blue Army, right? So that's what I would say is my biggest advice to those teams that did take the grace or on the fringe of selling. Sometimes it's better to get first overall. So just remember to keep that in mind. Next up, championship prediction winner. Who's going to win the LOC? My prediction is Billsy Bobs. Co is going with the 12th man. So we have different people who we think is going to win the championship. My reasoning for why I think Billsy Bob's going to win the championship is what I had said earlier. I think he just has the guys like Josh Allen and Jamar Chase who could very well put up 40 to 50 that week, and that'll be tough for Brian to beat. I know Brian's got some good players in his lineup as well, but when you got Judy and Dunze, I can't even remember his other wide receiver there, matching up against those two behemoths for Billsy Bob's. I think in the end, those behemoths for Billsy Bob show up, and he ends up being a well-deserved champion. Or if Brian wins, he could be the well-deserved champion as well. Again, anything can happen, folks. So I just want to say this is the end. So I just want to thank everybody for participating in the league this year. You guys are the ones that also help the LOC be what it is. We have 46 owners in this format all across the world. And I just want to say I'm grateful being a part of this with all of you. And I hope you really do enjoy the LOC and the time and work that we do to make this an entertaining league for you. This all kicks off soon, guys. We got 4 days to go. Hope you enjoyed the preview, and good luck this year.